The Steve Wilkos show is in its 14th season. Just wrapped your 14th season.
Just
right?
wrapped.
Did all the shooting and everything. Picked up now to be Monday through Friday. You check your local listings. Show just picked up for its 15th season. You're like one of the longest. You're like Gunsmoke.
I'm outlasting everybody.
Good for you. Good for you. A former PD was Chicago, Policeman, and then Jerry Springer's show. But the funniest thing, the story you ever had was you were arresting a guy because you're still in the PD, but you're semi-famous.
Yeah.
And the guy looks up, you're struggling with the guy, and the guy looks up, Steve!
I got my gun stuck in his ribs. I didn't even care.
But then it was all good at that point. Oh, Steve, that's great. All right. What's interesting with the big thing for me, Rizzo and Chris Bryant are free agents now after this season. And Baez, right, coming in. And they're all, Rizzo's having a good year. Baez is now hitting the ball. Bryant, though, is having a sensational year. Yeah. So if you're Jed Hoyer, what would you do?
You know, it comes down to that thing, like, to me, like, Bryant could be a Hall of Fame player, right? You know, he's Rookie of the Year, MVP, like you were talking about Posey, right? Won a World Series. Do I think the Cubs are going to re-sign him? Absolutely not. I think they're going to trade him, and he's going to be gone. And it's a shame because I would like to see him resign, but it goes to, like, you know, when I'm watching all these Met games living out here and you see Francisco Lindor get that big deal, and I'm sure he'll come out of it at some point, but when you're giving $300 million to anybody, it eats up a large part.
I just want to point this out. Like, you know, Posey would be number one with his plate appearances. He doesn't have enough plate appearances. But on qualified hitters, the weighted runs created plus leaders, and that's overall hitting. Chris Bryant is the top hitter in the National League. Now, it's been about a year and plus where we didn't think Chris Bryant was a superstar anymore.
Right.
Is it time to rethink, oh, wait, what we originally thought is actually what's going to happen? He is a superstar because the guy can still run.
Right. Well, he was hurt, too, right? Like, he had some shoulder problems.
Yeah.
But, you know, you talk about, like we were saying about the Dodgers, they sign guys that can play a lot of different positions, versatile, and that's what Bryant do. You can basically, they had him in center field last week, you know, so he can play all the outfield. He can play first base, third base. So he's a very valuable player. But, like, with the Cubs, my frustrating thing is it just seems like they're in this mode of they're not going to spend now. Maybe they're going to redo it like Theo did when he took over the Cubs. And it would be a shame because I really like Bryant as a player. I think he's just a great all-around athlete, and I think this is his prime now. But I just, you know, and he's a Boris guy too, right? So, you know, he might be wanting big money.
We'd have to check. They can tell me. You talking about Bryant?
Yeah.
Is Bryant represented by Scott Boras? Guys, you can tell me whenever. Yes, that's a yes.
Yes.
So Bryant, Rizzo, Kimbrel, Javi Baez, Zach Davies. So it's even more than that big three. I am torn on Anthony Rizzo. My sabermetric training tells me do not spend for the slugging first baseman in his 30s because you're paying for his 20s and you're getting his 30s. Yeah. And the guy will get bigger and slower. However, when I'm watching the games and I see Rizzo's at-bats, and given the history of what he's done, I do feel like, no, maybe that's your franchise player and go ahead and spend. And it's not like it's not like the Angels investing in Pujols. It's like the Cardinals investing in Pujols. So if he doesn't perform great for you when he's 37, yeah, but you have all that history that's good.
And he's like the modern version of Ernie Banks, right? I mean, so beloved by the fan base in Chicago. And like you said, he's a grinder. The guy, every at-bat you see he's working. And, you know, defensively he's great. And you just know he's a leader in that clubhouse. And I would like to see him sign. And I almost think that Rizzo will be reasonable. And, like, if he gets a good offer from the Cubs, I could see Rizzo being back.
I see, like, a paradigm shift in that because what GMs are thinking and what players are thinking, I think, are very different things. And what GMs are thinking is what I'm thinking, meaning don't pay the guy who will age.
The first baseman.
Pay for a shortstop.
Right.
The Carlos Correa. Even if, hey, Rizzo's a better player, let's say, than Carlos Correa. He's been more valuable.
Right.
He's contributed more WAR, everything else. He's been a better player. But you have a 27-year-old shortstop. You have a 31-year-old third baseman. Invest in the shortstop because he can move along the defensive spectrum.
Well, that's why I kind of say where maybe you really go all out and you sign Chris Bryant because eventually you can put him at first base.
Right. And he can run. The base running is there.
Right.
But now, as a hardcore fan through the lean years, where do you feel on investing? And maybe does it take a hedge off winning, but it extends that glorious era? Do you know what I mean? Where you have players that you stick with and you have for 15, 20 years.
You know what? It's hard to answer that because, yeah, when I was a kid, I loved the fact that, you know, the Randy Huntleys and the Ernie Banks and the Billy Williams around Santos stayed with the team forever. Now, you know, they did win their World Series, and what I want is them to put the best possible team. And if there was one guy out of Baez, Rizzo, Bryant, and all those guys to resign, to me, it has to be Chris Bryant.
It's Bryant.
Yes.
Okay. I would agree with that. I'd be torn. I would say this, though, right? You're the Chicago Cubs, right? Like, you should invest in one of those guys. I don't know if you can just say, nah, we couldn't afford anybody. You're the Chicago Cubs.
No, but will it shock me if they don't resign any of those guys? No, it won't. It won't surprise me at all.
It's an essential, I think, fan dilemma now. Do you want to be the Rays, meaning they're going to give you a good team, but they're going to, just as you get to know Tommy Pham, and hey, I like Tommy Pham, gone. Right. Oh, he costs a little bit more. We can flip him and turn him into Hunter Renfroe and 3 other guys. Would you rather be that, or you rather have, well, we stuck with our old guys, but it's the guys we know?
Listen, it would be in an ideal world, they would sign Rizzo, Bryant. And listen, I'm the biggest Javier Baez fan there is. I mean, he's my favorite player on the Cubs. Mm-hmm. But it's frustrating to watch him swinging at everything out of the strike zone and just not getting on base. I would like ideally sign Rizzo and Bryant and keep the cornerstone and you keep that going. But, Chicago's not Tampa Bay. They have the money to spend.
Correct, right.
But they are acting like they have Tampa Bay money. So that really scares me as a Cubs fan.
I tell you, it is. It's a fascinating thing because I know teams want to win, but there is the tear of it's been a debate of watching what the Rays do, the ruthless efficiency that we talk about all the time here on this show. But at the same time, it's like, no, I kind of like that guy.
Well,
I want to stick around with that guy.
Here's what, I watch a lot of Yankees games because I live outside New York, and now the Yankees, they don't want to go over that luxury tax. But aren't they right there to win it all? They're just really win a championship. And you're really going to try to stay, we can only spend $6 more million to stay on luxury tax? That's going to keep you from winning a World Series? And I kind of feel like that's what the Cubs, when did we become cheapskates? We don't want to spend any money, and we let Darvish go for nothing. We need pitching, and you let your best pitcher go, and you didn't get a lot in return. And we wouldn't sign John Lester, who's having a good year with Washington now. So I just don't understand the small market mentality of spending now with the Cubs.
Well, again, Theo Epstein left and went. He's the guy moving the mound back. We're in favor of that, by the way. But now Jed Hoyer's there going, geez, what do I do?
Have fun with this.
Exactly.